Oh, who's excited? Who's excited? Yeah! Hello everyone and welcome to another Skaredcast video review. Today we're looking at the brand spanking new Space Marine Codex. Oh, look at this. I didn't even open it. I'm live. It is YouTube. I thought we'd go over this together. You could all enjoy me opening this tome for the first time here live. So you can, we're going to go through the entire book. We're going to go through the detachments, the stratagems, the combat patrol, maybe even some of the Crusade stuff, depending on all of you hanging out. So sit back and relax because this is going to be a long video. 3 to 4 hours normally. So sit back and relax or watch it later. The new book smell. We're going to crack open and we're going to hear it crack. The spine's going to crack and everything. So first and foremost, a huge shout out to Games Workshop, who did send me a copy of the Space Marine Codex for free so I can share it all with you. I think it's on preview or pre-order right now for the next 2 weeks. That's right. So it's a long pre-order. Hello everybody in chat. Hello everybody who's commenting, liking, sharing. I have not done one of these in a long time. I'm very excited. Yes, it's not 5 a.m. in the morning. You know, sometimes I used to do them at 5 a.m. in the morning. But I had some things I need to do with my son, who's 11, with his football club. So, and that's soccer for all you Americans. And so we had like a bowling party for the end of the season, so I wasn't doing this. So now we're going to dive into this. And you're saying, stop babbling on, Scary. Let's get to the nitty-gritty. Now, if you're watching the replay, I should have each segment of this timestamped in the comments down below. And by comments, I mean description. A huge shout out to the channel Patreons, without whom none of this is possible. If you'd like to support the patrons, or support me on Patreon so I can keep on making content, the link is in the description. That's enough of that. So diving into the new Space Marine book. By the way, Games Workshop also sent me some of the new miniatures to paint. Oh, check it. And I painted this guy right here. Look how sexy he is. Oh, look at that. I am so stoked for the new Space Marine range. I grabbed some bits from a Sword Brethren detachment, like Sword Brethren, like Black Templar shoulder pad. I put a Pyre pistol on him. You know, he's got the chained weapons, and I spent such a long time just painting him. And oh, it was great. So thank you, Games Workshop, for letting me just enjoy painting, which is really, really awesome. Okay, let's dive in. So first things first. Oh, it decided to get a little crazy there. First things first. I hope I don't cut myself. That would suck. You know, just like start up and be like, and now, ladies and gentlemen, Scary cutting his finger, which, by the way, has happened in the past when I've been like, you know, doing hobby, and all of a sudden it's like, and now, ladies and gentlemen, Scary bleeds all over, and there goes my monetization. You know, violence and hobby. Okay. Yes, you. Oh yeah. I hope you can hear that. Live from the hospital. I know. I totally would do battle reports from the hospital. That can go away. I'm gonna have to clean that up. New book smell. Let's see if we can hear this thing crack open. Oh. Yeah. Oh, it's so cool looking. I love it. Of course, the nice. It's like drugs. Okay. So, brand new Space Marine Codex. It is not as thick as I would have expected. Then again, they did say they were going to be cutting out a lot of the... so like a lot of the data sheets they're cutting out did get a little banged up in transit in the box, sadly, so the corners are a little chuffed. But other than that, let's dive in. I'm really excited. I play Black Templars personally. Something I really liked about this was that we had... I'm actually going to have to turn off the auto. Haven't done one of these in a while, so my camera settings aren't necessarily the most set up. Let's make sure I get these camera settings all set up. Let's take away the autofocus because that's just going to be bad. Okay, so yeah, it'll focus on that. And then we'll just zoom in a little bit like this. There we go. So you can kind of see it a little bit better on point. Okay, there we go. And that is that. Nice. Of course, if you're in chat, make sure you post a chat in. I can't guarantee I'll get to all of your questions. You know, today's hype day, so like there's so many channels out there doing like the Goonhammer review and this and that and the other, but this review is from me, a gamer that has played this game for 24 years. 24 years or so, ever since 3rd edition Warhammer. So a lot of the things that I will tell you has perspective from many editions past, and I really enjoy kind of sharing my thoughts with all of you at home. Of course, to date this video, it's the London Grand Tournament that's happening this weekend, and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on with that. And so probably a lot of folks sort of like watching that happen, you know, which is fine. It means that, you know, not a lot of folks will kind of like hop onto here and stuff like that, which is completely fine. But you can watch it later, share it with your friends, all that good stuff. And the video, somebody's going to comment and be like, and the video doesn't start until until what is it, the 10th minute or 15th minute. And that's when people get all upset and start like giving me grief or whatever. I don't care. I get to play with brand new Space Marines. Awesome timing. Yeah, that's right, James. Okay, so let's dive in here. Contents itself, always really, really clean. I love, like, from the new Tyranid Codex and the new Space Marine Codex, they have a fantastic sort of like visual appeal. I haven't read a codex, I will admit, in quite a few years. But Space Marines have always been one of those that you can get really into it if you like want to get into like the lore and exactly how they, you know, have all their chapter iconography, and you've got like all the different sort of like different cool reliquaries or, you know, little tidbits of their information and lore. Like a lot of these are like redo artwork, but there's a lot of new artwork, especially with a lot of the Primaris stuff. And there's probably like tons of stories, and I do like that they're starting to show up. They're showing off like more of the battle tank style with like tracked vehicles, but also like some of the, anyway, it's the lore part of these codexes is fantastic. So in terms of lore, I have to go and probably read it, but these books are just gorgeous. Like, yeah, you can go and like subscribe to Warhammer Plus and get yourself your like app, right? Which is what I would recommend. But there's nothing like opening these books, going through, reading about your favorite chapter, looking about like how they organize, and you know, they're all so structured, and like the different lore and backstories and the lineage of like the different things, and you know, having your chapter, and like there's something classic about playing Space Marines. That's just so cool. And the new miniatures they've been putting out for these are phenomenal. Like, absolutely awesome. Black Templars. I love the Black Templars are still, you know, look at that. Look at that. Land Raiders, Land Raider Crusaders. Of course, classic playing against the Orcs. Why not? Because, you know, we're from the Third War from Armageddon, or Third War for Armageddon. That's when the Black Templars got their first codex. It was like a little pamphlet. And then from there, kind of moved on. Okay, so they are rules for the Combat Patrol. That's like one of the main things in here. Now, the Combat Patrol is just a box that you buy. This, like, it's cool. It has, like, basically tells you exactly what's in your Combat Patrol. Every army right now has a Combat Patrol box or set. And I think that it really adds to, like, it's nice, it's very simple, it's easy, you buy it, you paint it, and you can just play with it. I love that there's like they've brought back some of this paint stuff, you know, like how to paint your army, and putting some hobby things in these codexes, which is something that I feel was like there, but not really to this detail. Where it's like, look, there's a basic steps, like put a wash on it, you know, highlight it a little bit, make it pop, you know, things like that. So for a new hobbyist, I think having this sort of information in your codex is just fantastic. Then of course you've got your Combat Patrol rules, with hey Amp, what's going on? So you've got like different enhancements you can take, objectives you can take, right? Stratagems that you can take, or whatever, depending on what you like. If you play Combat Patrol, I will admit I have not played Combat Patrol, but it does seem to be quite popular. So if you are a Combat Patrol aficionado or aficionada, let me know in the comments. Tell me what you like about it. You know, the data sheets are slightly different. The rules change. You know, to sort of like have like an internal balance between combat patrols. You know, that's Emperor says, how's this dex? Well, we're figuring it out. We're slowly checking. Okay, we're just basically going through it and kind of seeing essentially like what we like, what we don't like. You know, the one gripe I have with this combat patrol is you can only attach one of these characters to the Terminator unit. So you're either running 2 solo characters, Terminators and the Flamer guys, or you're running 1 character in the Terminators and then a solo character and then the Flamer guys. So that's the one gripe I have with this combat patrol. But, you know, I didn't design it, so whatever. So, diving into the forces of the Adeptus Astartes. Ah, the Adeptus Astartes. So first and foremost, we have the basic army rule for the Space Marines, Oath of Moment. At the start of your command phase, you select 1 unit from your opponent's army, and until the next command phase, every unit in your army that has the Oath of Moment rule can re-roll hits against the target. Now this is definitely a change from the Index. In the Index, it was re-roll hits and wounds, so a little bit of a debuff there. However, it was a very powerful rule, so they toned it down. Sure, there's probably other ways to get rerolls. They did say this was the addition of less rerolls, right, Games Workshop? My Dark Eldar tend to disagree with that statement. Hello in chat, Tanuvain. So, we've got etc., etc. So you cannot include units from more than 1 chapter in your army. So if you decide to like take Ultramarines in your army, you can only then take characters from Ultramarine, like Ultramarine units or characters that are specifically Ultramarine. If you decide to do Imperial Fists, you take Imperial. You can't like mix and match characters from different chapters altogether. But one of the cool things about this is that they don't really have any sort of like set rules for like Imperial Fists or Black Templars or whatever it is. The way they're giving your army rules is through the detachments. And in this book, like in the Tyranid book, there are 6 detachments that you are going to be able to base your army around. And each detachment has a different feel, has different stratagems, has different enhancements, has different detachment special rules. And that's the key to 10th edition. So 10th edition, you know, at least in Index, we each got 1 detachment, we got some stratagems. But now moving on into the codexes themselves, we're going to be able to build our army that we love within like the style that we love without having too many restrictions. Now, whether you like that or dislike that or agree or disagree with this sort of game design, I like it. Now, at a competitive level, is it going to be that we see some detachments more frequently than others? I think so. I think at the end of the day, we're going to have like a specific detachment do very well competitively, and so most people who want to play competitively will sort of go towards that detachment. Right. However, from a fun perspective, playing with your friends, the fact that you can play your army in like with 6 different detachments, each one having a different flavor, means that you as a hobbyist will have way more opportunities to flip things around and test things and try different unit combos and things like that. And I really like that about the design of the edition itself. Hey Maxwell, what's going on? So let's dive in to your tried and true Gladius task force. Now this is the one that was in the Index. The same thing with the Tyranid Codex. We're seeing the Index detachment become a part of the Codex. So in this one you get your combat doctrines, so that hasn't changed. You can once per game choose Devastator, Tactical, or Assault Doctrine, each giving you a special rule. Like Devastator gives your entire army shoot and advance. Tactical Doctrine allows you to shoot and declare charge after you fall back for the army. An Assault Doctrine allows you to charge, advance, and charge once per game. So you still have your basic detachment in your Gladius Strike Force. Then we have Artifice. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different enhancements. Now, of course, make sure you go and check the Minotaurium Field Manual. So that is a free document on the Games Workshop website that will have the updated point values for your codex. So regardless of when your codex is released, the Minotaurium Field Manual is essentially going to be the accurate point representation of your codex and your points and your enhancements. So make sure you check those out. At least that's what we've been led to believe. So check it out, please. A Space Marine chapter should be able to field any of these detachments anyway. 100% Danuvain. You know, like, the Space Marines are like the elite of the elite, right? So they're, you know, even though you have like non-codex compliant chapters, that just might mean that they might use different things within those detachments, if that makes sense. So I like how versatile it can be. So you still have Artificer armor, you know, makes your character tanky. The Honor Vehement, makes your character more killy. The Adept of the Codex, that's really cool. You can have like your one unit just be very, very good at like keeping in either of these doctrines if you want. So you can have like an assault unit just constantly be in the assault doctrine, etc. And then Fire Discipline, which used to be called Bolter Discipline, but now it's just Fire Discipline. So now it's instead like a lot of people would be like Bolter Discipline on Hellblasters. Yeah, okay, it's called Fire Discipline. Sustained 1 and sustained 5s on Devastator Doctrine. So this pretty much hasn't really changed. Just the name changed, I think. Still a very powerful enhancement. Armor Contempt is like your basic Space Marine stratagem. I think you'll see Armor Contempt in like every detachment. Yeah. Which is a battle tactic stratagem, so it can be vected. And by vect, I mean can be, like the cost can be modified by like a captain or an assassin or something like that. Only in Death Does Duty End. So this is fights last. Yeah, so this is fight on death for 2 command points. Sure, honor the chapter. Can give your a unit lance to get +1 to wound. Not bad. And if it's in Assault Doctrine, you get +1 AP, so a little killy in close combat. Adaptive Strategy, you basically Adept of the Codex, but for a command point on like a different unit. Storm of Fire, ignore cover, and +1 AP and Devastator Doctrine. So that one's very, very powerful, especially with things like Grav. And then you've got Squad Tactics, which is... I love this stratagem. Being able to move after your opponent gets close to you is just can be game winning. You know, so this was already good when the index came out, and it's still something that folks can try. Good afternoon, Sindri. What's going on? So now we go into the 5 detachments that are brand new. The Anvil Siege Force. Nice. I really like the fact that there's like Anvil Siege Force, Iron Storm Spearhead, and they've, okay, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. They gave you some visual representation of what chapters might really like this type of detachment. So you can see here, Ultramarines, Imperial Fists, Iron Hands, right? Salamanders, right? White Scars, and Raven Guard, right? So, and then Black Templars. Heck yeah! Boom! We made it onto a detachment, baby. Look at that. That's what I call representation. So the special rule for the Anvil Siege Force is the Shield of the Imperium. So ranged weapons equipped by Astartes that have the heavy ability. Oh, sorry. All weapons have heavy, so they can stay still, get +1 hit. If weapons already have heavy, if they remain stationary, get +1 to wound. So it makes your heavy weapons very good, and it makes your regular weapons hit better if you don't move. So it becomes like a more of a stationary fire-based style army, and you can really sort of like leverage that to get better like hit rolls, or if you want to like be able to take out like bigger targets with more volume of fire style weapons like heavy bolters and, you know, like things that shoot a lot like assault cannons or whatever. All of a sudden, well, no, heavy bolters are heavy. I don't know if assault cannons are heavy, but like you can make sure that like your last cannons get better at wounding like knights or like bigger targets, and +1 to wound is nothing to sneeze at. As for enhancements, Indomitable Fury, so a Gravis model only, basically can come back to life on a 2+, very similar to the Eldar Phoenix gem, right? Fleet Commander. So basically put a marker on the table, then put another one in the next shooting phase, draw a line, and every unit that has the line pass over on a 3+ takes D3 mortal wounds. So it's like a cute way of doing mortal wounds, sure. Stoic Defender gives an entire unit that they're leading a 6-up feel no pain. And if they're battle shocked, they don't completely lose their objective control. Well, that's not bad. The feel no pain, I think, would be very useful. And then Architect of War, ranged weapons have ignore cover. So, you know, in terms of enhancements, not like nothing really stands out too much. Like to me personally, I do like the 6-up feel no pain, but as a Black Templar player. Well, actually, that only happens if you take Righteous Crusaders. So that wouldn't be bad for like a big tanky unit of like Terminators or something like that if you want to keep them around longer. But then we have Armor Contempt, which we know what it does. Basically, -1 AP. If you don't know what it does, now you do. To your enemy's attacks in shooting or combat. Rigid Discipline. So end of the fight phase, you can pick a unit that's in engagement range and fall back with it. I think that's very useful for an army that wants to like stay stationary and shoot you with a bunch of stuff. It means your opponent is going to find it hard to ping you down in combat. So you can like, oh, you tied me up in combat. Well, I'm going to spend a CP at the end of the combat phase. I'm going to move back. And now in my turn, I'm free to do as I wish, which is really cool. Not one backward step. In the command phase, pick a unit within range of an objective marker. Double the OC, but it must remain stationary. This can be game-winning, right? So that could be really good on like a big unit. See, I'm thinking like, say on a Black Templar, it has 20 Crusaders, and it can like spread out over multiple objectives. All of a sudden, you can have them all be 3 OC. No, double the number. Oh yeah, it's all 4 OC all of a sudden. And then you can be like, I have so many models on these objectives. Plus, you can do it in your command phase, so you can like flip an objective that your opponent tried to like take away from you. If you have like a Dreadnought on there and he's OC 3, and then like throw a little unit on there that's OC like, you know, 5 or 4 or whatever, and they're like, haha, and you're like, well, you know, joke's on you. My Dreadnought is now, oh, it's infantry. Boo. My Intercessor unit is now 10 models, not 5, or 10 OC, not 5. So now it's my objective still. So take that, sucker. That kind of little cheeky stratagem. I love cheeky stratagems. They really make my world go round. Then we have No Threat Too Great. One Adeptus Starter's unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot in your shooting phase. If you target monsters or vehicles, you can reroll wound rolls. So that would work very nicely against like an Oath of Moment target. So you could Oath of Moment target, then combine it with like Shield of the Imperium for +1 to hit if you stayed stationary, or +1 to wound if they were already heavy weapons. And then if it's a monster vehicle, get reroll wound rolls. So like you can like take down that Magnus or that Mortarion or Angron coming down your lines, or a Land Raider or something big and nasty that you need to try to get rid of, like that Avatar, right? That's the kind of thing that would be very useful in that sort of situation or scenario. Battle Drill Recall in your shooting phase. Pick a starter's unit that is not shot. Ranged weapons gain sustained 1. And if they remain stationary, then they get sustained on 5s. Now that is powerful. Combine that against like your Oath of Moment target to get reroll hits and then sustained on 5s and then get plus. Like I'm looking at these cool combos. You can have like a Devastator squad or something with a bunch of las cannons or heavy bolters or grav cannons or whatever that stays stationary, or centurions or whatever, and then all of a sudden they get +1 to wound, reroll hit rolls, right? Potentially plus reroll wound rolls with a sustained 1 on 5s, and then you can start looking at how the math would get really crazy, right? Which is really neat. Did Oath change to only hit reroll? Yes, Maxwell. It is. You pick a unit and you get reroll hits against it. So no more reroll hits and wounds. It's just reroll hits. Last but not least, we have Hail of Vengeance. In your opponent's shooting phase after your enemy has resolved its attacks, one unit that lost a model, and then you can shoot back at that unit. So cool, shoot back. There's a couple of ones like that, but these two are like 2 command points, so they're very, very expensive. All in all, you can see, or just by reading these rules, I can tell that there's a specific feel, right, that they're going for when it comes to this. Lumbering, slow, pick a target, eliminate a target. Pick a target, eliminate a target. Sit on the objectives, be tanky. You know, it feels very like that. You know what I mean? So if that's your style of gameplay, this would like work perfectly for you. Moving on to the third detachment, Iron Storm Spearhead. By the way, this is the first time I've read all these. So if I missed anything, leave a comment down below. Let me know what I missed, or if I didn't highlight something that you wished me to highlight. If you have any questions as I go along, make sure you post them in chat, or leave a comment. I'll get to the comments eventually as well. And there should be timestamps for all the other stuff at some point if you're watching the replay. If you haven't already, share this video with one of your Space Marine friends. Maybe they'll learn something. Armored Wrath. Once per phase, for each Adeptus Astartes unit in your army, you can reroll 1 hit roll, 1 wound roll, or 1 damage roll made for a model in that unit. Okay, so this is very similar to what the Eldari detachment does. But instead of 1 reroll to hit and 1 reroll to wound, it's 1 reroll hit or wound or damage. The fact that you can reroll damage, though, I like. Especially when you're running things like Last Cannons or Hunter-Killer Missiles or things that are like variable damage, like Eradicators that have like the Melter rule. It just means that when your damage gets through, it's going to be very efficient damage, and that can be really, really neat. So you've got an Aura, Tech Marine, vehicle models within 6 have lethal hits. Oh, that's very powerful. Especially, that's very good, especially against an Oath target, right? Like if you pick an Oath target and just reroll hit rolls and just get lethal hits, so any 6 just automatically wounds, then you don't really need rerolls to wound. You just reroll hits and fish for 6s. So that's always a great, I like that. Plus it's a 6-inch bubble. Considering Tech Marines can be lone operatives within 3 inches of vehicles, like they could have a little bubble of dreadnoughts or something walking around and like being very dangerous with a reroll hit or wound or damage. Like I feel like it feels very Space Marine, which I like. Bearer gets a 4 at Feel No Pain. Cool. Flesh is weak. No, it's about right. Adept of the Omnissiah. Tech Marine model only. Once per battle round, when a saving throw is failed for a friendly vehicle within 6, you can change the damage to 0. Once per battle round. That's powerful. That's so powerful. Like a Land Raider or a Repulsor or something with that guy nearby is going to be annoying. Or like a Dreadnought. See, great enhancement. Great enhancement. These are really cool. Master of Machine War is another aura. Friendly vehicle units within 6. They can shoot even if they fell back or advanced. Well, who needs, who needs combat doctrines when you can just have a dude stand next to you and give you all of the rules from that detachment on an enhancement? And that's any Astartes models. It doesn't have to be a Tech Marine. Well, that's powerful. That's very powerful. That's also powerful. So far, these enhancements are probably my favorite that I've seen so far. Redemptor Dreads with those buffs are going to be heinous. Yeah, imagine. And they went down in points, right? 630 points for 3 Redemptor Dreadnoughts. And then you can have 3 Ballistus Dreadnoughts for 450. And then you can have 3... the Brutalis Dreadnoughts? Yeah, 9 Dreadnoughts with a bunch of Tech Marines running around, making them really annoying. Just take some infantry to do some mission stuff, basically. Not to mention lethal sustained whirlwinds on 5s with Gulliman. Yeah, and the cool thing is you can mix and match, with the characters and the combos and the auras that you get from, special, characters in the Codex. Like the detachment data sheets. That's what I love about this, is that it's... I love it because there's so much depth if you really want to do a combo, right? You can really look for that ultimate combo you want to try and just go for it, right? Which is really, really cool. Okay. So then we have a couple of strats. So 6 strats as well. Unbound Conviction. In your command phase, pick a unit that's below starting strength. They ignore modifiers to characteristics or tests made for it. Except, so basically is like the new act at full profile, but it could be a variety of things like, you know, battle shock and things like that too, because you can change that all up, which is neat. Armor Contempt, which we said is the Space Marine stratagem, so it just seems like every Space Marine army is just going to have Armor Contempt. Mercy is Weakness. In your shooting or fight, or the fight phase, 1, a Astartes unit that is not selected to shoot a fight. If you target a unit that's below starting strength, you get sustained 1. And when making an attack, if the attacking model is a vehicle, you do 5 ups. You do a critical on a 5. So exploding 5s if you're a vehicle against units that are below its starting strength. So anything that's just wounded, like even a knight with a single wound, you can send in your Redemptor Dreadnought or Brutalis, spend a command point, and then they have sustained hits on 5s because they're a vehicle, or you could do Terminators going in with sustained hits, and if it's your Oath target, you get rerolls. So what I'm seeing here is there's a lot of layered capacity for combos, which is going to be really cool, you know. And if you love a bunch of tanks and dreadnoughts and things like that, you've got your old Dark Angel list with a bunch of Gladius and Speeders and a whole bunch of things like that. I feel like this kind of detachment would work really well for that. Then we have the Vengeful Animus. In any phase just after a vehicle with the Deadly Demise ability is destroyed, you can use a stratagem and it just automatically explodes. It's so cool to have that back in the game. I love that. It means you can run like a Land Raider Redeemer right into the opponent's army, or something that has like a devastating deadly demise, and just explode it when it dies and try and do as much damage as possible in your opponent's, like, whenever they kill it. I love it. That's really cool. Then we have Ancient Fury. In your command phase, pick a Walker model. Until the start of your next command phase, that model's move, toughness, save, leadership, and OC are increased by 1, and they get +1 to hit. That's neat. That makes it 1 Dreadnought makes him very tough to take down. I like that a lot. So Redemptor Dreadnought with like +1 toughness, move, save, leadership, and OC just could be annoying as all hell to deal with. So cool. Wombo combo initiated. Yeah, exactly right. Mercy is Weakness. Being a battle tactic is the highlight of this detachment. Yeah, battle tactic, armor contempt, unbound conviction is a battle tactic, so the 3 battle tactics. Don't forget, battle tactics can be used for free with like captains and things that give you free stratagems, but can also be increased with things like Vect, an Archon or Calidus, or I call it Vect, but a lot of new players don't know what that means or is in reference to. If they don't step out into your advance and shooting, lethal sustained 5s on dreads, you just do it to 2 whirlwinds instead. Yeah, exactly, right? Wombo combo. And last but not least, we have Power of the Machine Spirit. Classic name for a stratagem or rule, especially for Space Marines. In your opponent's shooting phase, after an enemy unit has resolved its attacks, 1 vehicle unit that was reduced to below half strength as a result of the attacking unit's attacks, they can shoot, can target the enemy unit that shot them. So shoot back as well, same as this one here, but instead of having to take a casualty, they basically, it's like, oh, you reduced me to under 50%. Boom. You know, man, like, I get to shoot you back in anger. So I like that. It's cool. 1 CP. I like reactionary stratagems. It makes it really, really cool. And there you have it. The Iron Storm Spearhead. Let me know what you think in the comment down below. Or in the chat. Then we have the Firestorm Assault Force. Salamanders, anyone? Thank you, Tim Hortons, for delicious tea. Their detachment rule is close range eradication. Ranged weapons from your army that are from Adeptus Astartes have the assault ability. Neat. And each time an attack is made with a weapon with such a weapon targets a unit within 12, add +1 to the strength characteristic of that attack. So, all the weapons in your army get assault, so you can advance and shoot. And if you're shooting anything within 12, you get +1 to strength. Okay, not terrible. Not as good as like -1 toughness in my opinion, like from Death Guard. However, +1 strength for everything means that like your Meltaguns or Plasmas now become strength 9 at 12. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff that like their value gets up, but it's designed to get it nice and close. But once you get close, the strength of all your weapons goes up, which means you'll have an easier time, theoretically, to go and kill stuff, right? All my flamers and melters are ready. Yeah, get the opposite of frosty boys. Aggressors with 5 strength, -1 AP flamers. Now it says, yeah, and a good thing it specifies ranged weapons, because you'd be like, oh no, now all my power fists have +1 strength, because they're assault too. But no, it is ranged weapons only. Let's go into the enhancements. So, Champion of Humanity, a Tacticus model only. Oh man, that's the one thing. Having to learn these random, like, someone's going to make a mistake somewhere, when they're writing a list by hand. Be like, oh, this is a cool enhancement. I'm going to put it on this guy. And then they don't have the Tacticus keyword. And they'll be like, that's not allowed. And they'll be so sad when they find out. So make sure you keep track of your keywords, folks. While the bearer is leading a unit, models in that unit can ignore modifiers to their characteristics. So basically, an enhancement to make a unit be led by Trajan, essentially, is what it comes down to. Now, that's going to depend as well. A lot of places change, like, does damage count? Does OC get modified? There's a whole bunch of, like, things that go with that, but make sure you check with your TO. War-Tempered Artifice. An infantry model only, add 3 to the strength of the bearer's melee weapons. Neat. Forged in Battle. While the bearer is leading a unit, once per turn, after making a hit or saving throw for a model in that unit, you can change the result to a 6. So that'd be really cool if there's something in there that you have that gives you like devastating wounds, like a Thunderhammer, or if you have something like that. And it keeps your guy alive once per turn. So that means it's once per player turn, not per battle round. So you can do it in your turn and your opponent's turn. So in your turn, you could go in and like turn a hit into a. Oh, is that a hit? Oh, it's a hit roll. So you could turn a hit roll into a 6 to try and get like sustained hits or something, or a lethal hit, right? And then, but mainly I'm assuming you're going to use it more for saving throws, like run it in, have a character just take a hit, be like, oh, and it's after making the save throw, you can be like, oh, I failed that Storm Shield save. Oh, it's a 6 now. It's like a constant fate dice, which is kind of cool. Then we have the Adamantine Mantle. Each time an attack is allocated to the bearer, -1 damage. If that attack was made with Melta or Torrent, change the damage to 1 instead. Nice. So that's cool. This is very, very situational. Like, I'm just really good against flamers. So if you're playing, like, your local Crusade campaign or something, and your friend loves bringing flamers and Meltas, you can totally grief them with the Adamantine Mantle. Seems like these enhancements are okay. I mean? Like, this detachment hasn't really just jumped out at me to be like, this is the powerful one. Auto 6 with oh, there you go, Timothy Unwin. Yeah, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. You can definitely overwatch and get an automatic hit with something depending on what weapon it has. So that's neat. It could like save you in a pinch if you need to have that Meltagun absolutely hit that dreadnought that's about to charge you or something. You know what I mean? With Vulcan Heston, you can still re-roll to wound on all flamers and melters on a target unless they changed him. Yeah, well, we'll kind of go through a lot of that stuff. Like, there's a lot of stuff to go through. Like, ooh, there's so many data sheets. So we'll skim through them. You know what I mean? And then as we learn over time, we'll find out some cool stuff. I definitely don't have the time to go through absolutely every sentence of text here. So then we have Armor Contempt, your Space Marine stratagem. Cool. What other battle tactics do we have here? We have Crucible of Battle, Immolation Protocols, and Onslaught of Fire. Cool. So, ooh, and Burning Vengeance. So 5 out of the 6 stratagems are battle tactics in this detachment, which means things like captains that give you a free battle tactic would be very, very worth their stonks in this detachment. Is that how the kids say it nowadays? Stonk value goes up. By the way, if you haven't liked the video yet, click that little thumbs up and help the channel help the video get noticed by the algorithm. Thank you. Don't be scared of the data sheets, Scary. I'm not scared. There's just so many of them. So, Crucible of Battle. In your shooting or fight phase, or not any fight phase, one infantry unit that is not selected to shoot or fight. Until the end of the phase, when they make an attack that targets the closest eligible target within 6, add +1 to wound. Okay, so get real close and get +1 to wound in addition to have +1 strength, right? So it combos off nicely there. Rapid embarkation. At the end of the fight phase, one transport unit that has no models embarked within it, one infantry unit wholly within 6. The infantry unit can embark in the transport. You cannot target an infantry unit that is within engagement range of enemy units that you cannot normally embark, that cannot normally embark within that transport, or that disembarked from a transport this turn. So you can't, okay, so you can't disembark, go and then like re-embark in the same turn, like a Venom. You know, Venom lets you do that, like in the Dark Eldar sense. This is a cool, sneaky little, I guess you could do little tricks with it if you really wanted to. That sort of let them be scared of you. I'll try, okay? Immolation protocols. In your shooting phase, one unit from your army that has not shot yet. Until the end of the phase, torrent weapons have devastating wounds. Well, that's neat. That would be great with like a Land Raider Redeemer, or you know, something that has like a lot of torrent weapons, just do a lot of mortal wounds, like just volume. Aggressors come to mind with something like that, especially if Vulcan does give you reroll wounds. Comboing Vulcan with like immolation protocols would be pretty sexy. Onslaught of Fire in your shooting phase. One Astartes unit from your army that disembarked from a transport this turn and has not shot yet. Until the end of the phase, each time a model makes a ranged attack that targets the closest target within 12, add +1 to hit. If one or more enemy models is destroyed as a result of any of those attacks, select one of those destroyed models. That destroyed model's unit must take a battleshock test. Cool. So I think you really use it for +1 to hit. Like, get out of a tank, run up, get +1 to hit. If you're close range, +1 to wound, right? And then if you kill something, cause a battleshock test. So, yeah, it's a cute stratagem. Burning Vengeance. Your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy resolved its attacks. One transport unit that was selected as a target of one or more of the attacking unit's attacks. One unit embarked within that transport can disembark as if it were your movement phase. It can then shoot as if it was your shooting phase, but must target only that enemy unit when doing so. Oh, that's hilarious. I really, really like this one. So essentially, you can have a transport filled with aggressors, run it up into the middle of the board. And then your opponent goes, you know what I need to do? I need to shoot that transport filled with aggressors or flamers. And your transport's like, I'd be pissed. And then go spend a CP, all the aggressors get out and shoot. That's so funny. But they can only shoot the thing that shot the transport. Hilarious. This is hilarious. Plus, you know, if they kill stuff, anyway, it's cool. I like this one. This one's really fun. It's only 1 CP too. That is absolutely hilarious. Free movement, haha. Yeah, it's more like the surprise, you know. Oh, you thought you could get rid of me, eh? Well, check this out. I've got a flamer and I'm not afraid to use it, or whatever it was. Why is this not? There we go. Ta-da. There we go. Done. Neat. By the way, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it, or you're enjoying it so far. On to the 5th of 6 different... Oh, no. Is this the 3rd? 4, 5... Oh, the 4th. Is that the 4th? Yeah. Oh, my gosh. So many. Oh, no. There's 7 detachments in this book? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, there's 7 detachments. Ooh, I thought there was only going to be 6. Well, I'll be. That's exciting. 7 detachments. Apparently I can count and do maths. Storm Lance Strike Force. I'm assuming it's designed to be fast, mobile, and get up in your face real fast. So the detachment rule is lightning assault. Units can advance or fall back and charge. That alone is so powerful. Like, that detachment rule is crazy powerful. Just being able to not get pinned down, advance and charge with wherever you want, full back and charge. It's so strong. So strong. Fury of the Storm, so enhancements. Mounted model only, improve the strength and AP of the melee weapons by 1. Each time the bearer ends a charge move until the end of the turn, improve strength and AP by 2. So, makes your weapons cool. Portents of Wisdom. Any Astartes model only, while the bearer is leading a unit, reroll advance rolls. Really useful, useful, because you can fall back and charge every turn. Useful, because you can advance and charge, right? Fainting Withdrawal. While the bearer is leading a unit, that unit is able to shoot in a turn in which it fell back. Neat, so you can have like a shooting unit that can then fall back, shoot, and charge, or advance and charge, and whatever it is. So useful, that's another really useful enhancement. And Hunter's Instincts. Mounted model only, if the bearer's unit is in strategic reserve, you can bring them in a turn earlier. So bring in your reserves turn 1. Also very useful. All in all, very useful. Just useful. This, like, we haven't, this is like all 4 of these are good. And you're going to take 3 of them. If you end up fighting a tank or monster army, some eradicators with a biologist and a land raider could be mean. Yeah, exactly. And then we have Armor Contempt, the main Space Marine stratagem. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 battle tactics. Once again, captain's value goes way up when you've got a bunch of battle tactic stratagems. Blitzing Fusillade. In your shooting phase, select a unit that hasn't shot yet. Until the end of the phase, ranged weapons have Assault. If such a weapon already has Assault, they gain Sustained. So who needs Fire Discipline when you can just use 1 command point, right? So that's cool. Full Throttle, especially against like an Oath unit, right? Like just, especially, or a unit that already has Assault weapons. Like get up in their face, advance up, shoot, right? Get a whole bunch of shooting done. If you already have the Assault weapon, you get Sustained against the Oath target, tons of hits. So mathematically it's still really good. Full Throttle in your movement phase, a mounted or vehicle unit that's not a walker, so not a dreadnought. Until the end of the phase, do not advance. It just moves 6 inches, or 9 if it is mounted. So an auto advance, this is always very powerful. However, because you can advance and charge, it is 2 CP, so it is chunky. Very, very chunky. You wouldn't be able to use it all the time on the first turn. However, if you have like hidden supplies as a special rule or something like that that gives you an additional command point right off the bat, if you go first and have 2 command points, you could get real aggro real fast with this, like imagine a bunch of bikes, like an outrider squad. It's like a big unit of outriders, and then they auto advance 9 inches and just blitz up the table and just charge in, and all of a sudden your opponent has to deal with all these outriders while the rest of your army sort of like comes in waves. This detachment is not for the faint of heart. It is for someone who wants to get aggro. And so far I'm loving how aggro this can be. Shock Assault. In your charge phase, a mounted unit that hasn't charged, if they do, they can reroll charges and they get Lance, so they can kill stuff easier in combat. Nice. Then Ride Hard, Ride Fast. Your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. 1 mounted or fly vehicle unit. Your opponent is -1 to hit and -1 to wound them. Oh, what? That's a battle tactic stratagem? Well, that's powerful. -1 to hit and wound against an enemy unit that's shooting you. That's pretty good. And then Wind Swift Evasion. In your opponent's movement phase, just after an enemy unit ends a normal advance or full back move, you pick 1 unit from your army within 9. Your unit can make a normal move of up to 6. You cannot select a unit that's in combat. So this is basically like the Gladius Strike Force, except it's an automatic 6 inches. So really powerful stratagem. Really powerful stratagem. Okay stratagem. Really powerful stratagem. Okay stratagem. And of course Armor Contempt. So 3 out of the 6 here. Very strong. And this detachment rule is bar none the strongest, in my opinion, that we've seen so far. Thunderwolf Cav could like this detachment. Right. And that's the thing, Just Des. Like, you want to look at your favorite chapter and sort of intersperse a lot of these cool rules with the chapter of your choice. And then you get all of the, like like stratagems and the detachment rule and the enhancements, and then you can build the army that you've wanted to play or the style you want to play within the parameters of this detachment. And then you don't have to worry about the other detachments. You just worry about this. You've got your stratagems, you got your enhancements, and then you combine what you see on this page with the data sheets that you have for the book, and combining them all together allows you to really create some really cool stuff, right? This is the Thunderwolf Detachments, says Still Frosty Gaming. How will I say for Russ, right? Is that how it goes, or is it fetch? Doesn't really feel like White Scar's attachment with the subpar mounted units. Yeah, fair enough. But this is for anybody who wants to be fast and aggro. To be honest, like imagine like running a giant unit of Thunderhammer Stormshield Terminators that advances and charges. You know what I mean? Just like 30 Terminators, and all 30 Terminators, one of which has Hunter's Instincts, so that you could like bring them in turn 1, and then the other 2 on the table that can advance and charge, right, and get up in your face. You know, like you can think outside of the box with a lot of this stuff. It doesn't necessarily have to be mounted or Thunderwolf Cap. Like some of the strats work specifically for that. But like if you just want to leverage the Lightning Assault special rule and have fallback, advance, and charge on your whole army, then go right ahead. Then we have Vanguard Spearhead. So the sneaky boys. So of course Raven Guard, right? I'm assuming there's going to be some sneaky stuff in here. Shadow Masters is the detachment special rule. Each time a ranged attack targets an Astartes unit from your army, unless they're within 12, -1 to hit, and they have the benefit of cover. So your whole army is basically stealth, unless your opponent is within 12. That is very powerful. You know, of course, we saw there's a few things out there that ignore modifiers to like hit rolls and stuff like that. Sure. But in general, having a army-wide -1 to hit is not a bad thing. So that's pretty cool. Isn't the only mounted character the chaplain on a bike? Or did the captain not get legended? Ow. Yeah, chaplain on a bike might be the mounted character. I don't know if they're going to be making more or whatever, but we'll kind of go through it and stuff. JE. Captain on a bike, scout bikes, regular bikes, attack bikes, and legends. Yes, yeah, they all... There's a whole bunch of stuff that got legend, which is fine. However, they did say that, you know, in that article they put out, that if you have, like, jump pack Marines, that you can use them as, like, jump pack intercessors. You just have to put them on the right size bases or whatever it is. So, enhancements. Infantry model only. While the bearer's leading a unit, they have infiltration. So that would be really cool. Imagine putting that with a big unit of Terminators and infiltrating a giant unit of Deathwing Terminators, like right in front of your opponent's army. Fun. Ghost Weave Cloak. Bearer has the stealth and lone operative abilities. Cool, so that's interesting. You could like play around with some like character options there if you don't want to take the like lone operative lieutenant, for example. Send in the Raptors chapter, yeah. For Shurdor says 10 Deathwing Knights 9 inches away from any deployment at the start of the game. That can be a right pain. Yeah, exactly. So I'm thinking, like, think outside of the box when it comes to this sort of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, just think outside of the box, get creative, and you'll probably find some really cool combos. I have a tendency to be overly optimistic. You know, you could call me a Games Workshop shill if you would like, but I've literally been playing this game for 24 years or so, and I just like playing with my little toy soldiers. So when I get to do cool stuff, these rules let me do some cool stuff. Lias Isodon would like a word, yeah. Execute and redeploy. A Phobos model only. In your shooting phase after the bearer's unit has shot, if that unit is not wholly within engagement range of one or more enemy units, it can make a normal move up to 6. If it does, then it cannot charge. This cannot allow the bearer's unit to move more than once in your shooting phase. Cool, so shoot and scoot. You know, if you have like a Phobos model in a Phobos unit, you can shoot, scoot. Yeah, it can be very useful to kind of like get some, like, get cute with some stuff. Shadow War Veteran. Phobos model only again. Do you see the Phobos sneaky marine style coming out of the woodwork here? Once per battle after your opponent uses a stratagem, the bear can use it. If it does so until the end of the battle, the stratagem costs an extra CP. So of course this would only affect, at least of filming this, battle tactic stratagems based on the Minotaurian field manual, so make sure you check that out. But it's essentially what we would call a Vect enhancement. So on to the stratagems. Armor Contempt, basic Space Marine stratagem. Cool. And then we have 1, 2, 3 battle tactic stratagems if you want to look at, how valuable a captain would be in your army. To make stratagems 0 CP, they have to be battle tactics. So there's only 3 in this detachment. 1 command point for Deadly Prize. 1 infantry or mounted unit within range of an objective marker. That marker is sabotaged, remains under your control even if you have no models within range of it, so sticky any objective. Neat. While a objective is sabotaged under your control, each time an enemy unit ends a normal, advanced, fullback, or charge move within range of the objective on a 2+, they take D3 mortal wounds. So this is really cool. So a lot of folks forget to notice that when you sticky objectives, they don't flip control until the beginning or end of any turn. So, for example, if your opponent were to advance onto the objective or move onto the objective on a 2+, they would get D3 mortal wounds. And then say they were to charge something that was on that same objective in that same turn, even if they had more OC on it, the control doesn't flip until the end of the turn. So then they would once again take D3 mortal wounds on a 2+. So just something to keep in mind. Little technical thing, but something that people forget. Armor Contempt, good. Surgical Strikes for 2 CP, 1 infantry unit that is not fought yet in the fight phase. Until the end of the phase, melee weapons gain precision. That could be powerful. Is it worth 2 CP? Sure, the fact that it includes any attached characters means that it's probably worth 2 CP, but normally you just spend 1 CP and just do epic challenge, right, from the main rulebook. But it is a battle tactic stratagem, so you could do it for free with a captain's unit of Terminators or Blade Guard or something cool like that, you know what I mean? I think the Iron Hand style one is looking really nice. Oh yeah, we went over that. It's really cool, all the dreadnoughts and vehicle heavy list. Heck yeah. By the way, everybody watching, let me know in chat or in the comments which one is your favorite so far and why. I'm curious to see which one you like the most and what is going to which one you're going to gravitate towards based on that. Then we have Strike from the Shadows. In your shooting phase, 1 infantry unit that has not shot yet. Until the end of the phase, each time they make a ranged attack that targets an enemy unit more than 12 away, you get +1 ballistic skill and AP. Neat. If 1 or more enemy models are destroyed as a result of those attacks, one of those units must take a battleshock test. Cool, so +1 AP, +1 AP, +1 ballistic skill. And cause a battle shock. For 1 CP, not terrible. Can be good in a pinch, I guess. Brother of Titans, I don't know since I just here, but epic. Epico, yeah. Which ones have been covered? Fisher Fury, we're on the 6-1 out of 7. How dare you show up late? You better be clicking that like button if you're showing up late. Just... it's such a good... It's so funny. I'm harassing all of you. Okay. Calculated Feint. 1 CP in your opponent's charge phase. Just after an enemy unit declares a charge. Already liking the sound of this. 1 infantry unit from your army that was selected as the target of that charge. Your unit can make a normal move up to D6 or 6 if it's a Phobos or Scout Squad. Ugh. That's so dirty. Being able, okay, anything that gives you extra movement is already powerful. Being able to reactionary move after your opponent has declared a charge is borderline ridiculous. That is going to... that would be so frustrating. Oh, I'm just going to move away 6 inches, so now your charge out of Deep Strike is just impossible now. You know? Good luck to you. That's cool, actually. Wilco Captain. I like that none of these seem like a sort of throwaway army detachment similar to assimilation for Nids. Well, yeah, assimilation, don't they just go around eating stuff and then throw themselves into the big gruel vat? So I guess it would be throwaway, you know. And then guerrilla tactics. End of your opponent's fight phase. 2 Phobos and or scout squads, or 1 other Adeptus Astartes unit. Remove them from the battlefield, put them in strategic reserve. They have to be more than 3 inches away from enemy models. Cool, so that's cool. Put stuff back into reserve. Very powerful. Very, very powerful. Right? Okay. Decent. Sure. And then, okay. Like, these two here are really why you would probably use it, for scoring and for, like, getting a lot of points and being really annoying and just playing more of a control game to try and, like, stop your opponent from doing exactly what they want. There you have it, the Vanguard Spearhead. On to the last detachment of them all, the First Company Task Force. Of course, the Sword Brethren, or the Blade Guard veteran from the Black Templars, are on this, because they are the coolest, best chapter in all of the land. Black Templars will kick all of your butts, because we're the best. I'm watching you, Space Marines. Hell yeah, says Maxwell. Yeah, that's right. So the detachment special rule, extremis level threat. Once per battle, in your command phase, you can use this ability. If you do until the start of your next command phase, each time a model from your army with Oath of Moment makes an attack that targets your Oath, you can reroll wounds. The fact that it's once per game, like, it makes me sad. I know how powerful reroll hits and wounds are. However, like, once per game means, okay, you really need to kill this one thing, you get it. So the enhancements and the stratagems better be up to snuff to sort of, like, pick up the slack for the rest of the army detachment rule. By the way, check this out. See, I'm wearing official Games Workshop merch. Black Templars, baby. There are so many good First Company units. I know, right? So let's look at these enhancements. The Imperium's Sword... Adeptus Astartes model only. Add 1 to the attacks characteristics of the melee weapons. Once per battle, at the start of any phase, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does, until the end of the phase, add 1 to the attacks of melee weapons equipped by all other models in the unit. That's pretty good. If you really need to go in for the hammer blow. Like, I'm thinking Black Templar. So put like a captain or a marshal with this inside of a Sword Brethren unit, and then go +1 attack for their fight stance, and then Imperium Sword for +1 attack, so they all get +2 attacks with reroll hit rolls, and then potentially go for an extremis level threat for reroll wound rolls, and just walk in and just like clear 20 Necron warriors in like a single attack. Be like, blah, all gone. That would be so satisfying. Fear Made Manifest Aura. Adeptus Astartes model only, while an enemy unit that's not a vehicle monster is within 6. Each time that unit fails a battle shock test, 1 model in that unit is destroyed. Once per battle, when such an enemy unit fails a battle shock test, you can choose for D3 models in that unit to be destroyed in this way instead. Neat. So, fail a battle shock test, your enemy runs away in addition. So, cute. You know, cute. Sure, I don't think it's going to be game winning. Liking the Firestorm Strike Force, I've been running 3 Infernus and an Impulsor, so it's a perfect fit. Oh, that's awesome, Timothy. I'm glad to hear all of your awesome, like, combos that you're thinking of and things like that. That's fantastic. Then we have Rites of War, a Terminator model only. Improve the OC control of the bearer by 1. Once per battle, at the start of any phase, the bearer can use the enhancement. If it does so, add +1 to the OC of all other models in the unit. Okay. It's cute. It can help you, like, score points once per game, like, really kind of turn the tide of battle on a close game. That can be, like, worth its weight in gold, not to be underestimated. Iron Resolve. Terminator model only again. Bearer has Feel No Pain 5+, and once per battle, after the bearer's unit is selected as a target of 1 or more attacks, you can use this enhancement, and until the end of the phase, the bearer's unit has a 5 of Feel No Pain. So, I really like the Imperium Sword one. That one's okay. But the fact that they're all once per battle is like... why? Like, your detachment rule, once per battle. most of your enhancements once battle, except for one, which is going to come up almost never, because you're probably just going to kill things. You know, like, I rarely feel like you're going to have stuff left alive to keep alive. So, okay, cool. But it does make your units really punchy and really killy that once per game they just do something really cool, like Terminators are supposed to do. So, thematically, sure. But not the best enhancements. Although having reroll wound rolls is not bad. Once per game, though, kind of poopy. Hopefully the strats are good. Yeah, exactly. Let's pivot to the stratagems here. Armor of Contempt. Yep, same one. We have 1, 2, 3 battle tactic stratagems in terms of using captains. So I'm not going to go over Armor of Contempt. Heroes of the Chapter. Your shooting or the fight phase. 1 Terminator, Blade Guard Veteran, Stern Guard, or Vanguard Squad that has not shot or fought. Until the end of the phase, add +1 to hit roll. If units below half strength, add +1 to wound roll. +1 to hit is not bad. +1 to wound is not bad. Don't forget, Terminators, however, get +1 to hit the oath target regardless, and don't suffer negative modifiers. So, like with Terminators, it'd be kind of pointless. But it'd be more like Blade Guard Veterans, I guess, would be like the main thing. Or if you're doing Vanguard or Stern Guard, sure, you know. Considering it could be done with shooting, that's not bad. Terrifying Proficiency. 1 Terminator, Blade Guard, Stern Guard, Veteran. So it seems like there's a theme here for your strats. Unit that made a charge move this turn and destroyed 1 or more enemy units this phase. So it's after they have fought. In your opponent's next command phase, each enemy unit within 6 inches must take a battle shock test. If the unit is taking that test is below half strength, -1 to the test. Enemy units affected by the strat do not need to take any other battle shock test in the same phase. So you can't double up on battle shock. But, you know, I could see doing like Terrifying Proficiency with Fear Made Manifest. Like if you have like a really killy unit that runs up, wants to kill like a little squad and then consolidate or spread out or whatever, get like right in the middle of the enemy army and try and force a bunch of battle shock tests, and then like at -1 potentially, and then a model dies from each unit or whatever. See, this would be really powerful. Oh, because it's not against vehicles or monsters. Sad. Because I was like, ooh, that'd be cool if you could make a Dreadnought run, but that doesn't count. But like, okay, there's a combo there. Not the best combo. Duty and Honor. Terminator, Stern Guard, Blade Guard, Vanguard, sure. Unit in your army within range of an objective marker you control in your movement phase. That objective marker remains under control. Okay, so sticky and objective. Always good. I love sticky objectives. I literally take intercessors in my Space Marine army just for sticky objectives. You can agree to disagree, but I have Kabalite Warriors in my Dark Eldar. I do the same thing. I would not leave home without some way of sticking objectives because it's so good. And then you can use your tools elsewhere and you can just leave the objective be and you don't have to babysit it the whole time. Orbital Teleportarium. End of your opponent's fight phase. 1 Terminator unit. Remove it, place it back into Strategic Reserve. It'll arrive in the battlefield next movement phase using Deep Strike. Oh, that's so powerful. This alone, this stratagem alone is what I would probably use it for. Big block of Terminators teleporting up and down, which means you can essentially turn your army into like Grey Knights without having to be Grey Knights, or Death Watch without having to be Death Watch. Have like a giant Terminator brick just like teleporting every turn and just being like, I'm going to go here, bzap, I'm going to go here now, bzap, I'm going to go here now, bzap, you know, and just like, I love this. This is so cool. Legendary Fortitude. Your opponent's charge phase after an enemy unit ends a charge. Terminator, Blade Guard, Stern Guard, Veteran, or Vanguard, okay, within engagement range of that enemy unit. Until the end of the turn, each time an attack is allocated to a model in your unit, -1 to the damage. That could keep your 4 wounded Assault Terminators alive, or Blade Guard Veterans alive a heck of a lot more. So that's neat. I like it. These 2 alone, I think, are worth it, and one of them is a battle tactic. So not terrible, but this and this is kind of poopy. But that's okay. Maybe just like the once per game you go in and be like, I'm Terminators, murder. Well, there you have it. Those are the 7 detachments of the Space Marines in the new Codex, which is really, really neat. It's always cool to see like example armies from the studio and all that stuff. And then we dive into the data sheets, which, you know, I have no idea if they've changed them or whatever, but like the datasheet stack from the index was like thick. It was a lot of data sheets. Now with a whole bunch of stuff going to legends, and a lot of things getting sort of like mixed into sort of like a chaplain is a chaplain is a chaplain. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't, they've cut down on the number of data sheets, but you can still use pretty much any models you have for those units as long as they're on the right base size. Stern Guard Terminator mix list would be cool in this detachment. Shoot bonus for Stern and movement for Terminators. Yep, I like Stern Guard, but combi weapons are a lot less fun now. Yeah, because they don't have the reroll wound rolls. Sad face. Robute Gulliman. Reroll Battle Shock. He basically gives auras. He's Gulliman. What is he gonna do? You can pick a second unit for your oath moment, and you can pick so he's a captain for any unit within 12. Sure. He's a lone operative within 3 inches of infantry. And on the 3+, he comes back to life with 6 wounds remaining. Cool. He's Gulliman. He's killing. Marinus Calgar. His special rule, his unit can shoot and declare a charge in which it advanced or fell back. So he's like super like cool. He can join. What can he join? Oh, it's him and his guard. But can he lead? What can he lead? Oh, leader. He can lead quite a few things. Aggressors, assault interceptor, blade guard, company heroes, eradicator, heavy. Okay, so he can lead a whole bunch of stuff. Plus his Victrix guard come with him. That's neat. This unit's Calgar has a Feel No Pain 4-up, so he's very tough to take down with precision. And you just gain a CP for putting him in your army at the start of your turn. Neat. Remember that whole like advance and charge, auto advance 6 inches, it's 2 CP. You put Calgar in there, you could do that turn 1. Nasty. Hey, Tanu Vane, thank you so much for the for joining the YouTube subs. Really appreciate it. That means a lot. Such a biased datasheet order. Clearly, Adrax Agatone should be first. Well, there's Lysander. He's on the 2nd page, bottom of the 4th page. Oh, you better watch out. Chief Librarian Tigerius. Feel No Pain 4+ for his unit against Psychic. -1 to hit roll against the unit he's with. In addition, you can target a unit with the following stratagem for 0 CP: Counteroffensive, Fire of Arts, Go to Ground, Heroic Intervention. That's cool that he has like a list of strats he can use for free. So cool, it just makes a unit, neat. Just like -1 to hit and, sneaky. Sikaris. Leading a unit, units have Scout, 6, nice, and their weapons have Assault. So remember, like in the fast-moving detachment, if you really needed something that had Assault, this already gives them Assault, etc. That's cool. Once per turn, when enemy unit ends a normal, fullback, or advanced move within 9, they can make a normal move up to 6. Neat. So you'd also be kind of cool in that sneaky detachment where you can move 6, and then if they charge you, you can move another 6. Oh, no, it's Phobos only, I think. Is it Phobos only? Now I have to check, because I spoke out of hand. Guerrilla Tactics, Phobos, Scout Squad, or one other infantry. Oh, no, is this feint. Any infantry unit. Oh, that's so good. It's just D6 instead of 6. Neat. Uriel Ventris. While he's leading a unit, you give them a stratagem even if they've already been for another army this phase. Yeah, this model can still be selected. They can be selected as for Battle Shock. Okay, cute. And then give 1 infantry a Deep Strike. Neat. That's cool. Some of these rules are kind of neat. Lysander, who wants to hear about Lysander? Obstinacy. What is in the unit? The strength of the attack is greater, so -1 to wound against their unit, which is good, and he has a 2-up invul save once per battle. Oh, nice. And that's a re-rollable 2-up invul save, too. And he's got 6 wounds. Gross. Tor Garadon. Mr. Scary, how the heck are you? I'm good, Wolf Shark. How are you? Thanks for coming to hang out. It's been a while since I did one of these. So I hope you enjoy it. It's a huge time investment, but I love it because I love showing all of you folks what the new goodies are. Tor Garadon. He basically has a Signum Array. So weapons equipped by models unit have Ignore Cover. Neat. And Siege Captain. when you target a monster vehicle or fortification with this model, you summon this model, he gets +2 damage, +2 AP, +2 strength for his Super Artificer Grav Gun. Neat. Pedro Cantor. He has a 6-up. Ooh, he has a Feel No Pain, of course, because they went through hell and back. Once per battle, in either player's command phase, you add +1 to the attacks of weapons in your unit, okay? And while this model is in a unit, each time a model makes an attack, add +1 to hit if the unit's below starting strength, add +1 to wound if it's below half. Okay, so pretty straightforward and simple. What can he join? Company Heroes, Blade Guard. Oh, you can join Blade Guard? Neat. So yeah, put him in a bunch of Blade Guard, go around just beating stuff up. Kind of want to play Dark Angels this edition. You should. Just play Dark Angels or Space Wolves or whatever you want, honestly. The world is your oyster, Wolf Shark. We spend too much time, effort, and money collecting and playing little toy soldiers. So do whatever you want with the little toy soldiers. Okay? Collect, play. You spend 3 hours playing a game, 4 hours playing a game. You might as well enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like, play the game your way. Enjoy and find people who play the game like you want to play and have fun with them. And just don't let the internet poo-poo all over your parade. Dark Angels are pretty cool. You have to wait till the Chaos Codex comes out to really play them properly, though. The Rites of Tempering. So Ironfather Pharos gives his unit 5 of Feel No Pain. He can be a lone operative within 3 of enemy vehicles. And 1 vehicle within 3 heals 3 wounds instead of D3, get +1 to hit. Neat. So basically, he's like a regular attack marine, except he heals 3, and he gives his unit a 5 of Feel No Pain, which is pretty good for like a heavy intercessor squad or aggressors or whatever. Could be pretty spicy when he's walking around. Then we have Shrike. His special rule, while he's leading a unit, he gives his whole unit loan up? Ugh. Gross. That's really cool. Like giving your whole unit loan up? Oh no, that's terrible. You can now join Assault Intercessor Jump Packs, so he goes around. He is also loan up, so you can just send him on his own if you want. But if he's leading, it gives it to the whole unit. Imagine that with an advance in charge and with a 6-inch advance or whatever, like an auto 6. Oh my gosh. Like, you can like keep him completely out of threat range and nobody can target him, nothing. And then when he's ready to strike, he just like, boom, straight up the table. Pew! And then like, just gets in your face with his assault intercessors. Oh, that's cool. Echo of the Ravenspire. End of your opponent's turn. If this model's unit is not within engagement range, you can remove the unit and put in strategic reserves. Oh my god, and they get that for free too? Oh, that's so cool. I love that. That's the kind of stuff Eldar just dream of. Oh, that's neat. Kasaro Khan. For the Khan, he's leading a unit. Ranged weapons get assault, and melee weapons get lethal lance. Neat. Each time this model destroys an enemy character, gains CP. Pretty straightforward. A very straightforward character. But too bad he's only on foot. Like, why can't you take Kasaro Khan on a bike? It doesn't make sense that he's on foot, right? Is it just me? Vulcan Heston, Forge Father, select a unit within 24 visible to the model. Until the end of the phase, an Astartes makes a ranged attack with a Torrent of Melta. You can reroll wound roll. So he still has that, select an enemy within 24, and then get reroll wound roll. So he's really good. Like, really good. +1 strength, reroll wounds, reroll hits against the Oath of target. Like, Vulcan Heston means business. Like, business. Why did they even make a foot model? Like, he looks cool. He's got a little bird. You know? Look at it. He's got a bird. And you know what the word is, right? Bird is the word. Bird is the word. And then we have Adrax Agatone. His special rule, while he's leading a unit, you can reroll wound rolls in melee with that unit. Neat! And then Lord of Pyroclasts. While an enemy unit is within engagement range of this model, halve the OC control of models in that unit. Well, that's cool. So, that's pretty, it's very straightforward. Reroll wounds in melee and like minus and halve your OC. Cool. I like it. Woo! On to the next one. Captain. So now we go into the main stuff. And I like that they did sort of simplify this. Captain Captain in Gravis armor, pretty much the same thing. They have the Rites of Battle and Finest Hour for your regular captain. You've got Rites of Battle and Refuse to Yield, half damage against the Gravis captain. Then we have Phobos captain, right? So Rites of Battle, which is standard for all captains. Master of Deceit, redeploy stuff, neat. Captain and Terminator armor for Rites of Battle and reroll charge rolls. That hasn't changed. Captain with a jump pack now. And for anybody who missed it, check it. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Games Workshop, for sending me. Look at this. He's got, like, a Black Templar, jump pack captain with a Mastercrafted Power Sword, and an Infernus pistol. Heck yeah. Oh, I'm so excited to use him. He looks so cool. Can you confirm that Adrax and others can lead Blade Guard vets now, says Kevin? Let's confirm this. Okay. La 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 la. Adrax, Blade Guard. Vulcan cannot go into Blade Guard. Shrike cannot. Kasaro Khan can. Tor Garadon cannot. Pedro Cantor can indeed. Uriel Ventress can Blade Guard, yes. Sikaros can Blade Guard. Tirgarius can Blade Guard. Calgar can Blade Guard. Yep, so Blade Guard seem to be something that a lot of them can lead now. The captain with a jump pack has Angel's Wrath and Rites of Battle. So while they're leading a unit, each time it ends a charge move, you get +1 to strength. Neat. Not bad. Yeah, no problem, Kevin. Thanks for coming to hang out. The loss of Termi Cap War Gear is sad. Termi Captain, what did he lose for War Gear? It's equipped with Stormbolter Relic Weapon. You can give him a Combi Weapon or a Relic Fist. The Relic Fist is 1 less attack, but +3 strength. I guess I should paint this one that Games Workshop also sent me, which is very similar to my original Black Templar. Look at this. This is a pewter Black Templar. This is the guy that I built and painted, I want to say, 15 years ago. He's still strong. Marshal Augustine. There you go. Even has his name on the... So he's going to get an upgrade soon. I'm just excited. Thunderhammer, Storm Shield. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But, you know, you live some, you lose some. Like, the relic weapon could be a fist or a Thunderhammer, whatever. Yeah, I guess that does make sense. It is sad to see, but, you know, they have to clear up the range at some point. Those get put on our shelves, and we have to buy more models, you know, and that's just how it works. Or you just magnetize everything. Lieutenant still has tactical precision for lethal hits and full back in charge. Yep, little less useful in some of the detachments now. Lieutenant in Reaver armor, lethal hits as well, and Terror troops is increased by 3 if you're running them with Reavers. Lieutenant in Phobos armor, sneaky guy, can make normal move in your shooting phase after it shoots, so shoot and scoot. Combi weapons, so lone up guy with a priority target thingy and evade and survive, still the same. Librarian, 4-up invul for his unit, and feel no pain against psychic attacks, pretty straightforward. Phobos armor, lone up for the whole unit, and 4 feel no pain against psychic attacks, makes sense. Terminator armor, 4 feel no pain against psychic attacks, that's the psychic hood is just standard stuff there. And sustained hits 1, so that hasn't changed. Chaplain, Litany of Hate, +1 to wound in combat. Spiritual leader can take away battle shocked once per battle, sure. Chaplain, Litany of Hate, same thing, and Recitation of Faith, 4 feel no pain against mortal wounds. For Terminators, I like the new model too, he looks really cool. Chaplain on a bike, Litany of Hate, same thing. And then when they shoot, select an enemy within 12, and you get devastating wounds in that unit. Could be really useful, especially with a big unit. Outriders. So each chaplain has like a different sort of like thing that they do, which is kind of neat. We hate buying models. Can't make Tushan, I guess. Yeah, I know, right? It's a bit of a... you can't make that like... that shark guy, right? Was it the shark dude with the lightning claws? I guess, you know, the Forge World model. No more hammer shield, claw, yep. Mikael Jensen says, does the Reaver have Deep Strike? Oh, so you can Deep Strike with a squad? He does not. He has Scout. He has Scout. The Lieutenant in Phobos armor has Deep Strike. Chaplain with a jump pack, of course it's a Blood Angel Chaplain, why not? But the Chaplain with a jump pack has Exhortation of Rage. You can pick a unit with an engagement range and roll the d6. On a 4 or 5, they take d3 mortals. On a 6, they take 3. So do some mortal wounds in combat, sure, and get +1 to wound, sure. Then we have the Tech Marine, pretty standard stuff. Fix things, get angry when vehicles die near it, and become a lone up. I do like my Tech Marine. Then we have regular Apothecary, brings a dude back that's not a character to the unit at the in the command phase, and it can join Assaults, Desolation, Devastation, Devastator, Hellblaster, Infernus, Intercessor, Stern Guard, and Tactical. And you can still put them in if there's a Captain, Chapter Master, or Lieutenant. Neat. And when this model's bodyguard unit is destroyed on a 2+, you gain a CP. Sure. Yeah, no problem, Mikkel. Thank you so much for asking the question and for hanging out and for hitting that like button, like all of you watching. Apothecary Biologists. So lethal hits for the unit, and which actually this works very well now with just Oath. Oath being just reroll hit rolls means that the Biologist is quite good. You just get lethal hits, so you can reroll a bunch of hits and just try and get as many saves as possible on the opponent. And then the Vivispectrum, if this model's unit destroys an enemy unit in melee, this model becomes OC9, which is, it's like cute, but it can be game winning. Very annoying for your opponent if they feed you like a cheap unit that you can kill early on in the game, especially. Sativas, Termi Captain can take a Relic Sword or Relic Fist and a combi weapon or a Stormbolter. So they really dumb down his weapon options. The Ancient. While this model is using a unit, +1 to the OC characteristic. While this model is within range of an objective marker or within 6 inches of the center of the battlefield, it has the Feel and Pain 4+, so it can be really cool. I do like, yeah, I like it. Ancients are fun. I had one in my Crusade more than anything, but I don't really see them very often. Ancient and Terminator armor, so still +1 OC. So, but this one is probably a little better, because if you're leading a unit, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, you get +1 to hit if they're below starting strength, +1 to wound if they're below half strength. So it makes your unit just killier as you go, but it can join like Terminators, right? So I like this guy better in terms of rules, but it's only on Terminators, and they already get +1 to hit against your Oath target. So is it worth it? Is it not? You know, that sort of thing. Do you think the Biologist with Eradicators is good? I would probably take it with Aggressors over Eradicators personally, or Heavy Intercessors. I really like Heavy Intercessors. Plus, if you look at some of the enhancements, mix and match the enhancements with the Biologist, and then make a big tanky unit that can sit in the middle of the board, and, depending on which detachment you took. And that's really where that flexibility comes into play. Blade Guard Ancient. The banner thing just gives you +1, so that's the banner thing. And Deeds of Heroism. Once per battle, this model's units like to fight. You can give +1 attack to melee weapons equipped models in this unit. Oh, and they can join Blade Guard, which means they can join... Ha! That's really cool. Okay, so Blade Guard Ancient with... I think anything that can join Blade Guard Veterans can join Sword Brethren, I think. But needless to say, you could do Blade Guard Ancient with that stratagem or that enhancement to get +1 attack once per game, and then use its +1 attack. Oh, so cool! So you can do some crazy attack value in there as well, which is awesome. Seems a weird choice from HQ if the Terminators can take the Chain Fist, but the Captain wouldn't. Yeah, he's a captain. He wants to stand out. He's like, I got my trusty sword, but sir, this Chain Fist would be much better for the mission at hand. No. Trusty sword. The Judiciar. Fights first on the unit, and each time this model destroys an enemy character, you get +1 attack for the rest of the game, which is pretty cool. Blade Guard Veterans, Infernus, Intercessor, Stern Guard, Tactical, Assault, so you can join them to a bunch of different stuff, which is neat. Then we have a new unit, which is the Company Heroes. So Company Heroes are like your command squad, essentially. And you have 1 Ancient, 1 Champion, and 2 Veterans. The Ancient has the banner, I'm assuming. Yep. The champion has a Mastercraft power weapon, a pistol, and then one veteran has a Mastercraft heavy bolter close combat weapon, and one veteran is equipped with a bolt pistol, Mastercraft bolt rifle close combat weapon. So you got like a mix of stuff. You can't really change what they're equipped with. Mastercrafted heavy bolter, my apologies. Mastercrafted heavy bolter is heavy, sustain 2, neat, and 3 damage. Well, it's a fancy heavy bolter. Look at that. So they have +1 OC. While a character is leading this unit, each time an attack targets this unit, subtract 1 from the wound roll. So they're bodyguards. Okay. You must attach a captain or master to this unit. If this is not possible, this unit does not take part in the battle and counts as having been destroyed. Okay, cool. But they're 4 wounds each. That's not, like, they all have, like, 4 wound Space Marines. They've got, like, they're chunky. Like, can you join an apothecary to this unit? Please tell me you can. Why? Why? I want to join an apothecary to my company heroes, but they're not letting me. Sad face. That makes me sad. Boo. That's a missed opportunity to be able to bring back the traditional command squad feel. The sword is a status symbol. Grunts get chain fist duty, cutting bulkheads while the captain oversees the action. Yeah. Like every construction site I've ever walked past. It's easier to command everyone and shoot one target with a sword rather than a chain fist. It's yeah, you might be able to poke them with the pointy end. Colin, hey Colin, how's it going? The Knights of Autumn shall ride again. Remind me to bring my spare Templar pauldrons next time I drop by. Yeah, absolutely. It'd be really nice to see you, Colin. That unit is sad. Yeah, very sad. Like, I want to put an apothecary and bring back my company champions. Or let me put the company heroes inside of another unit. Like, all of these guardsmen get to put their command squads in with stuff. Come on, where's your sense of adventure, Games Workshop? Azrael with the company heroes would be fun for a 4++. Yeah, absolutely it would be. Really, really neat. I didn't see any Dark Angel characters in here. Interesting. Or Black Templars. I guess they're going to get their own little supplements at some point. Okay, Intercessor squads. They have objective secured, which is sticky objectives. Still one of my favorite things to do. Assault Intercessors with jump packs. Oh, baby. They have Hammer of Wrath. So basically, 4-ups do mortal wounds when they charge in. Awesome. Doing out-of-sequence mortal wounds can be very, very useful. They also have the grenade keyword, so they can move up, toss a grenade, charge in, hit them with mortal wounds. They have a tank shock for more mortal wounds. Tons of mortal wound potential. Maybe a chaplain in there to do more mortal wounds. Really exciting. Regular Assault Intercessors with reroll wounds. Oh, nice. Reroll wound rolls of 1 or reroll wound rolls. So with Oath, they're actually really useful because they still have their reroll wound rolls. Heavy Intercessors are very, very good. If you're damage 1, it's -1. You get +1 save. So with Armor Contempt, they could be really tanky. Then combined with like Ironfire the Pharaohs for 5 of Feel No Pain or a variety of different things. Heavy Intercessors, I think, are a very good unit right now. Company Heroes unit seems more cool than good. Yeah, of course. If you're playing, like, when I look at these units, I go, yes, is it competitive or not? But I'm also going, do I want to use this in my, like, Crusade games, you know, and, like, run something cool? And, like, yeah, of course I'm going to have a guy with a banner and a dude with a cool bolter. And, like, of course, why not? Do Assault Intercessors have Eviscerators? Oh, let's check. The Assault Intercessor Sergeant's heavy bolt pistol can be a hand flamer or plasma pistol, and his chainsword can be equipped with a power fist, power weapon, or a thunderhammer. So no Eviscerators. But I guess you could count the Eviscerator as like a thunderhammer if you really wanted to, you know what I mean? Sure. Then we have the Incursor Squad, Multi-Spectrum Array. Yep, makes sense. They still have Scout. Infiltrators still have their Infiltrator. And units cannot be set on the battlefield or from reserves within 12. Super awesome. 6-up Feel No Pain. Get CP back. Infiltrators are just money. Then you have your good old tactical squad. Look at this. A giant page filled with war gear options for the avid collector of Space Marines from the 90s. That's me. That's me in early 2000s. Me. I have tons of tactical squads. They can combat squad. They can split the unit up into 2 and have combat squads. Neat. Very useful. Just have a bunch of little crap everywhere. I love infiltrators. So do I. Company Command Squad is great for telling stories with individuals having names like the animated 40k movie Hell's Reach. Yeah, exactly. You've got like Bob and Fred and Frank and Bill, okay? Bob, Fred, Frank, and Bill are 4 brothers with a common goal, murdering Xenos. And we shall go through their story one game at a time. Scout Squad, Brother Bob. Jesus, Brother Bob. Jesus, Brother Bob. Na 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 na. Come on, arrogant worms, anybody? Come on, please. If you're Canadian, you should know the arrogant worms. Scout Squad. Now, I do like that scouts are just scouts. They kind of mix them into the same thing. Like, that was kind of like how that was gonna work, just because it works. They have infiltrators, they have scout. Like, their weapon options is kind of changed up a little bit. Like, you can take, you know, 5 or 10, and then it's like for every 5 you can have a sniper rifle, for every 5 you can have a heavy weapon. Neat. You know what? Cool. It sounds neat. They're, you know, they're just a scout squad. They're, you know, got some options and things like that. Then we have your Blade Guard veterans, still have the 2 stances, reroll hit rolls of 1, or reroll save rolls, so they're still very, very chunky that way. I like Stern Guard. I mean, Blade Guard, I think they're like a mainstay. They're very good. I love this stuff, but I have a feeling we don't have enough in here to make up for the Oath nerf. What do you guys reckon? I think it's going to take some getting used to the Oath nerf, but you'll get used to it. You know, I think it's good for the game to have less like guarantees in the game. Like, Oath was very strong, but now it's like not just a guarantee that you're going to murder it. You have to like actually use the right weapons for the job. You can't just use any weapon that you wanted to at any point in time. However, some of the detachments have some really cool rules that mesh really well with a lot of the detachment rules, right? So then we have the Vanguard Veteran Squad. Cool. A variety of different options and stuff. They get lethal hits if they charge. Neat. Then we have your Stern Guard Veteran Squad. If you target your Oath unit, you reroll wound rolls of 1. So they have reroll 1s against the Oath target. So a little bit of rerolling there. And then, of course, great weapon options for the Stern Guard. I really like Stern Guard. They're really cool. Infernus Squad, the guys with flamers. Pick an infantry unit that was hit, and they take a battle shock. Neat. Then you have your aggressors. If they make a ranged attack that targets the closest target, you get +1 AP. So very good with their Flamestorm gauntlets. And then, like, there's so many combos with aggressors and, like, in the detachments and transports and getting out and shooting and Vulcan Heston and, like, there's so much stuff you can probably do combos with. I don't own any aggressors, so I'm going to need to get some, I think. The only Canadians I know are the Hart family and the Rougeaus. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. My apologies. A lot of stuff have twin linked, which would be taken more now. We'll try Centurions now. Yeah, twin linked. Anything that's twin linked to get some sort of reroll to wound, I think would be useful. That lone lieutenant that can like pick an objective and be like anything within 6 inches of that objective, you know, can get reroll 1s against. You know, it just there's more value in things like lethal hits, right, or things like that when the Oath gets changed. So now you're looking at like different things, right? So I think that's very powerful as well. Then you have your Reaver Squad. They have Scout. They don't have Deep Strike, so they go well with the Reaver guy. At the start of the fight phase, each enemy unit within engagement range takes a battle shock test, while an enemy unit is within 6, if they take a battle shock test with leadership, it's -1, and that's up to 9 if you got the lieutenant in there. The grapnel launcher allows you to make a normal fullback charge move, ignoring vertical distance of terrain. Neat. So that's good, like if you're charging through like crates and stuff, that you go straight through crates or physical blocking pieces of terrain. That can be very powerful. But if you give them grav shoot, they have deep strike. So they can. Can the guy have grav shoot? I don't know. Now I'm curious. I want to see if this Reaver lieutenant can have a grav shoot. No. Cannot have a grav shoot, sadly. Sorry. So can't deep strike with a lieutenant. Pooh. Terminator Assault Squad, pretty standard stuff. Each time a unit ends a charge move, the enemy must take a break battleshock test. Neat. Can rapid ingress for 0 with the teleport armor, sure. Terminator Squad gets +1 to hit the Oath target, and... oh, they took away the whole ignoring modifiers thing. So they no longer ignore modifiers to hit roll. They just get +1 to hit against the Oath target. Okay. Centurion Assault Squad. You get sustained 2 when targeting monsters, vehicles, or fortifications with their weapons, with their melee weapons, okay? And then Centurion Devastators, each time a unit makes a ranged attack, reroll hits of 1. If the target is an enemy unit within range of a marker, you can reroll hits instead. So they're good at like killing non-Oath targets as well, sure. But the Twin Lascan is twin-linked, so that's really useful into an Oath target. Not bad. So like looking at some combos, like there's some cool stuff in here too, right? I brought the Leviathan box yesterday. The reason was that I enjoyed immensely shooting aliens while mapping a planet in Starfield and cooking them afterwards. Tyranids fill the same role in 40k. Yeah, Tyranids are the big bad bugs. Big bad bugs. Then we have the Invictor Tactical Warsuit. Deadly Demise has 8 moves, 8-inch scout. Neat. Once per turn, in your opponent's shooting phase, when a Phobos infantry unit within 6 is selected as a target, you can use this ability, and you can shoot the thing that shot your Phobos infantry units. So it protects your Phobos. There's some other cool stratagems in this book for firing back when they shoot at you, so something to keep in mind. Brutalis Dreadnought. When it charges, you can do mortal wounds. Neat. Other than that, it's just a 12-wounded Dreadnought. Imagine advance and charge on it. Ooh, spicy. Regular Dreadnought. Good old regular box Dreadnought. While a friendly infantry unit's within 6, you can reroll hit rolls of 1. If this was reroll win rolls of 1, that would be like, right? Money. Redemptor Dreadnought, -1 damage, 12 wounds, toughness 10. I love my Redemptors. They are so good. I can't get enough Redemptors. They're fantastic. Ballistus Dreadnoughts can re-roll hit rolls against a unit that's not below half. So good at like the opening salvo, right? Suppressor Squad with a bunch of their accelerated autocannons. They're only 2 damage though, sadly. In your shooting phase, pick an enemy unit hit until the start of your next turn. While they're on the battlefield, that enemy unit is suppressed and they are -1 to hit. So just hit a unit, they're -1 to hit. Nice. I was using a shot, select 1 unit. Yeah, okay. Outrider Squad can be up to 6 now, plus an ATV. So I love the fact that they're big, there's lots of wounds, and a big chunky unit. And they have a turbo boost. So you can add 6 inches to their move when they advance. So they're really good in that like advance and charge strat. Or you could use a stratagem to make them auto-advance 9 inches, which means they would go, 21 inches. Just flying up the board in that detachment. Oh, imagine. That would be so aggro, and there's so many wounds in that unit. Like, so many wounds. 8 wounds in an ATV, plus 6 times 4. So 24 8s, 30-some wounds in an Outrider Squad. Potentially with, like, a chaplain. Like, imagine how annoying that would be to get rid of. Like, you probably kill it, but, like, at what cost? How out of position will you be when you have to deal killing this Outrider Squad with your army while the rest of the army moves up in your face? Nasty. Then we have Inceptors, which still come in within 3. They're so cool. Hail Strike, +1 AP against any unit that they shot. Thunderstrike is +1 to wound against vehicles and monsters at range. Hammer Strike, ignore cover, right, on an enemy unit. Cool. Hell Blasters still shoot on death. Eliminator Squads, they shoot and then move. And if they remain stationary, then they have devastating wounds. Neat. Eradicators still get reroll hits and wounds against monsters or vehicles, and reroll damage, so still really good at that. Desolation Marines, now that you can only have, well, ignore the 5 to 10 here. You can only take 5 Desolation Marines, so kids, don't listen to the book you're going to buy. You scratch that out with a Sharpie. 5 models for 200 points right now. Good riddance, freaking Desolation Marines. If they remain stationary, they ignore cover and ignore the penalty of the hit rolls. Still so good. Like, as an Eldar player, Desolation Marines are just, even at that amount of points, they're still so damn good. Devastators, I think with some of the detachments, they're really, really useful. You can change a hit roll to a 6, so you could get like lethal or critical hits. You ignore cover if you stay still. You've got lots of stratagems that are useful. I think Devastators is still very, very good. Don't all scout elements support each other, like bikes, land speeders, open, walkers? Yeah, sure, I guess in like the lore they would. Don't believe your lying eyes, exactly. I tried the Outrider blob once. They were one-shotted by a Genes to the Cult bomb squad, never used them since. Well, what doesn't get one-shotted by a Genes to the Cult, like, 3-inch drop-down demo charge bomb? Nothing does. The key there is you just need infiltrators to make sure that they can't get within 3 inches of your Outriders. Like, just use the infiltrators to protect your Outriders until they drop, and then run in with the Outriders and use a million chainsword attacks to murder them all. Like, even the Lich Guard brick that I was running got murdered by Genes to the Cult. But that's, like, for a completely different topic of conversation. When we could wax and wane poetic about the value of, like, all of this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, 100%. Let's get some water in this old throat of mine, because I'm a little thirsty. Delicious. Firestrike Servo Turret. Ooh, they Overwatch on 4s. Neat. I like that. I think that's cool. A Whirlwind still makes infantry units take battle shock tests. Cool. So that could be good to, like, throw people off and stuff. I think battle shock is, like, an underused mechanic that can be very useful as well. Just pre-ordered my codex. Can't wait. Who took my dice? I'm glad you did. That's good. I dropped loads of demo charges on Necrons back in the day with my Catechins. Bots were not amused. Yep. Melta Devastators in a drop pod with Firestorm detachment are going to be fun, especially if you oath their target and hit them with Histen rerolls. Oh yeah, there's some really cool combos. Like, go forth and create some cool combos that, like, have all these, like, just run Space Marines however you want to run them, and then build your army around a detachment that supports the style of play that you want to sort of, like, do. So then we have all the Gladiators. So the Valiant, +1 to hit against monsters or vehicles with its last talons. Lancer, reroll hit rolls, reroll 1 reroll, and reroll 1 damage roll, which if you combine it with the reroll a hit, wound, and damage detachment, then you could have, like, some Lancers do some crazy stuff. Gladiator Reaper, cannon has sustain 2 when targeting infantry, so just lots of shots. Predator Destructor, +1 AP against infantry. Predator Annihilator, range attack made by this model, allocated monster vehicle, reroll damage of 1, so more consistent damage. Vindicator can shoot into combat. Neat. Land Raider has an assault ramp. That goes without saying. It's very, very useful. Land Raider Crusader, the same. And of course, my favorite, the Land Raider Redeemer, because those flamers with Overwatch are just so good. I wish I owned a Land Raider Redeemer. I don't. I used to back in the day. But I just have my Land Raider Crusader. So sad me, I don't own one. The Black Templar Valiant in the Iron Hands detachment is multi-Meltar goodness. Oh yeah, just a bunch of impulsors and stuff with multi-Meltars everywhere. Reroll a hit, reroll a wound, reroll a damage. Just, like, rush them. Rush them with cheap transports with, like, 5 little dudes inside. Just MSU, like, just Black Templar spam. Repulsor. Emergency combat embarkation, I really like that. Can get into the transport if you get charged. I love my repulsors. They're so good. They have like tons and tons and tons and tons of shots. Same with the executioner. It's like they have so many guns. It's like not. It's so silly how many guns they have. The only thing they don't have going for them is they're a 3-up save instead of a 2-up save. Where a Land Raider is a 2-up, the repulsors are 3-up, and that makes me sad. Then we have the good old Rhino that self-repairs. The Razorback, which has fire support. So this is another way you can get reroll wounds. But it can only transport... it can only, like, transport, like, regular infantry, like a tactical squad or a devastator squad. However, if it does, you can use it to like disembark, shoot, and then reroll wound rolls. So something like a Devastator Squad and a Razorback is not a bad idea if you want the reroll wound rolls with like the changed Oath of Moment. Like you put grav guns in a Razorback, get out of the Razorback to move your grav guns or your Devastators out to the Oath target, move the Razorback out, and go, you know, oh, I'm going to shoot you, I hit you, now I get reroll wounds, and it's just like, and so then you have a different way of getting rerolls as well. So it's not that it's gone, it's just different. I love my Land Raider Redeemer. I know, I want one so badly. I love my Iron Hands Crusader delivering Hammernators. Nice. Can Sternguard go in a Rhino? So you can't put Tacticus models in a Rhino. I think Sternguard are Tacticus. They are Tacticus, so Sternguard cannot go in a Razorback. Impulsor, assault vehicle. You can advance and disembark, so that's really good to like do objectives and actions and stuff like that as well. Plus, it's got some cool war gear, like an invul save with the shield dome or the orbital comms relay, but that's a little less important. I do like the Bellicatus missile array. I really like that a lot. Then, of course, you've got the flyers. Stormraven gunship, -1 damage. And it has hover, so you can put it on the board. Lots of guns. Stormhawk Interceptor gets +1 to hit against fly, right? The Storm Talon Gunship, +1 to hit against things that don't fly. And they also have hover. He has hover. He does not have hover. I've been running my Void Raven Bomber. I'll say, there's something to be said about flyers. Like, don't diss them till you try them. Store Drop Pod, same thing. Just big Drop Pod guy. Yep. Hammerful Bunker. It's a fortification, and fortification can have benefits cover, defensive array. You can overwatch for 0 CP, even if you've done with somebody else, and you can only do once per turn. So, sure. Like, does anybody even use a Hammerful Bunker? I feel like for a Crusade, I would really enjoy playing my Hammerful Bunkers. And there you have it. All of the data sheets in the Space Marine book, it does feel like they've condensed them, and that is a good thing. That is a very good thing. I really like it. And for the first time ever... Oh, no, they nerfed the bunker? I don't know. I don't know what the bunker was. Like, the bunker... I've never used one. I don't even own one. I feel like it'd be really cool for, like, a Crusade. You know? But that's just me. That's just me. You got heavy bolters. You got a flamer or the missile launchers. Super frag. Super crack. I wish it was like indirect, but it isn't. You know, sure. Can Overwatch for free. Ooh, fancy. They have removed the Primaris trait, and still some models can't use specific transports. Terminators were not able to enter Rhino since 3rd, but the rest sounds like garbage. Whatever. I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to play with my little toy soldiers. So, Crusade rules. This is the first time we're going to do this. We'll dive into some Crusade rules here. And if you're a fan of Crusade, awesome. If not, no problem, you know. So, in this case, Crusade, the Crusade for Space Marines, like every codex, at least in 9th, had its own sort of like Crusade mechanic. And I thought it was really cool. Tyranids got their Crusade mechanic right now, and it's about eating planets, right? So you gain biomass, and then you sort of like create the invasion of like a system, and you basically take it over, turn it into biomass, move on, and your army grows as you like eat and digest stuff. Black Templars and Vanguard Strike Force are looking mighty spicy. I know, right? Implausible Nature in the chat. Welcome. The bunker could overwatch 4 times before Ballistical 4, which made it not good, but fun. Yeah, well, I guess it changed now. Yeah, nobody's allowed to have nice things, okay? That's just how that works. Oath Sworn campaigns. So Space Marines are basically going to do an Oath Sworn campaign. Neat. And they're trying to get honor points. After an Oathsworn campaign has ended, your honor points are reset to 0. For each 5 unspent honor points lost in this way, you can grant 1 XP. So you can basically use honor to get better. Neat. So you get bonus agendas, and it's all about honor. Neat. Okay. So you've got a campaign, you've got some requisitions, like get a fortification network, bonus agendas. What's the D6 here? I don't understand what that means. But what's the bonus agenda? Each Oathsworn campaign features a unique bonus agenda that are always selected in addition to your 2 chosen agendas. For the duration of the Oathsworn campaign, when you select agendas, consult the table associated with the Oathsworn campaign to select both an agenda for that battle. Best suits your Crusade or narrative goals. Okay, I don't know what the role is for, but cool. You've got your campaign precision strike agendas. Oh, so depending on what campaign you're playing. So you're like, I'm going to do this campaign or this campaign. Interesting. Campaign of Forging Legends. Neat. Chapter Command. After an Oathsworn campaign ends, if you have enough honor points to do so, you can promote your characters. Neat. And then characters become like, you can make them like a chapter master or a chief apothecary. Oh, so you can upgrade your characters to be chiefs of stuff. That's how you get your master sanctities and stuff like that. That's cool. Assignment and protocol. So it's all about honor and promotions. And here are your agendas. Neat, to get experience as you go. Your requisitions. And of course, some of your battle traits, like infantry and mounted unit battle traits, scout company units, first company units, vehicle models get their own battle traits. That's neat. It's a lot more in depth than it used to be. Some cool relics that you can use. These are pretty much the same as before. Vortex Bolt. Anti-infantry 3, anti-psycho 2, devastating wounds, D3 plus 3 damage. That's cool. Then we have your Crusade badges. Nice. Crusaders, Victors. So you can actually even paint like badges onto your stuff or whatever. And what's this? Oathsworn Campaign Tracker. It's very similar to the Black Templar campaign. And then of course you've got all of this stuff here as well, which is really, really neat. Awesome. Well, all in all, it seems like this book is going to be a ton of fun for all of you Space Marine fans out there. I'm very, very excited to play. I've got my Black Templars. I'm looking forward to trying my Black Templars in a variety of different detachments. You know, I've got enough of variety in terms of models to try out like a vehicle detachment, an infantry detachment, and heavy detachment, a whole bunch of stuff like that. So I think that's really neat as well. Couple of final questions here. Ninja says, do you think Dante and the new Jump Pack Assault Squad would be a nice combo? Yeah, absolutely. I think I think now is the time to not listen to the internet and go and try things. Don't listen to the internet. Honestly, I'm telling you, go out and try things. Put models on the table and test things. Have you played a Crusade in Tanu? No, I have not. I cannot wait to do so. John and I are going to be basically revamping our Crusade lists into 10th because they released a way that you can like transcribe your old Crusade into the new edition. It's on the website and stuff like that as well, so we're going to do that. Okay, folks, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much for hanging out. A huge shout out to the channel Patreons, without whom none of this is possible. The best way to support the channel is on Patreon. The link is in the description. Leave a comment, like the video, and tell me what you enjoyed. If you want me to do more of these, share the video with folks. If it has good traction and gets views, it's the kind of thing that I love doing for all of you folks. So it's something that I would not mind doing again when Games Workshop, like today, sent me a preview copy of the Space Marine Codex. It is for pre-release, so make sure you go check them out as well. A huge shout out to all of you. Thanks for hanging out. I've been Skari, your grateful host, signing off until next time. Skari out. The Dark Kin with Space Marines. Bye, everybody.